Hello everybody and welcome to Safari TV. Apologies for the slight delay. We had a power outage somewhere around Hoedspruit, so unfortunately we weren't able to broadcast until now. But as soon as the power came back up, we were raring to go. So let's hope that we can try and find some of the lions from this morning and maybe see if we can follow up on either elephant or the leopard. But so far it sounds like there's a few guys out, but not much has been picked up. So we'll head down to the carcass first. Still a little bit warm for any action, but you never know, there might be something there. And we'll see how the carcass is. As the Styx Pride, all 5 of them were actually feeding off of it this morning with the 2 males from the Umkahuma Pride that were there and who brought down the buffalo. So let's go and see what's around there. Then we'll head down towards Treehouse Dam and maybe Twin Dams area, and then up towards Buffalo's Hook Dam, depending on what happens through the course of the afternoon. So my name's Tara, I'm going to be your guide, and joining me on the Gunda this afternoon is Herman, and in Final Control is Alex. So if you do have any questions, feel free to send them through to finalcontrol@safari.tv and we'll be able to answer them for you. Let's see what we can go and find this afternoon. Afternoon stations, also joining the drive this afternoon. After that, thank you. How many movers are there?
I don't know myself, and I think Henry is coming in.
After that, we're going to go via the Bamba first. I'll give you a call after that.
The Bamba stage is my report.
After that, sounds good. Thank you. So the wind is still very strong this afternoon. I hope everyone is enjoying their Sunday. Hope you had a very relaxing Sunday. The wind is actually making it a very pleasant temperature again. I've been seeing the knobthorns type of acacia tree in full flower around parts of the Sabi Sands, but I have yet to find one as we're driving around, so we'll definitely see if we can try and find one this afternoon. Keep my eye out. I wasn't really listening too well, but I thought I heard in the distance some European or Eurasian bee-eaters calling. So I'll have to listen out or see if we can watch out for them. They should be on their way back fairly soon, but I think it's a little bit early for them at the moment. We'll soon find out. It was just while we were doing the voiceover for yesterday's diary, keeping you informed about what happened yesterday with Induna and the hyena. And if anyone missed it, we had Induna actually made the kill somewhere around 11 o'clock yesterday morning, and he actually, I think he got a bit scared because he went for the impala close to the lodge, and all the impalas started snorting and running away. But he actually did catch a male, but he bit him, but it's I think he got scared by people watching him, and I think he actually let go and backed off. So it took a little while for the impala to go, but he bitten well enough that he could actually go back to him. He wasn't able to run off too far. And then he sat with him. Obviously he ate some of the back end, the softer tissue from the back end. And then later on we caught up with him. And unfortunately I think he just lacks the muscles at the moment, the strength, to pull such a large animal up into the tree. Obviously we've seen him do it with a steenbok, but I think that male impala was just probably a little bit too large for him still. I think he's still got to work those muscles at the moment. But if he starts taking the smaller prey into the tree, I think he will build up those muscles. And unfortunately for him, the hyena spotted where he was, the berries that was close by, and then started dragging his kill away. Definitely, the action this morning was incredible. All 5 of the sticks pried, and to begin with Jared wasn't too sure if it was just three females and the 1 male, because the 1 female kept quite far back and the Unkihumas were actually hassling her a little bit. And then she started running off towards the end of our time with the lions there. And she ran off down towards Treehouse Dam, which I think we're going to be heading down towards. The lines are a little bit flat there. Wow, this carcass is really starting to smell. But we've got a hyena here. Oh, and some vultures. Sorry? Yeah. Can I just see if we can? There's some vultures on that. Probably going to be better for us to go around this side. See if we can see him through here. I think that's our best bet, because I want to try and keep our distance and just see if these vultures will come down again. I see him through there. I think we had a question coming through.
Window, the tent started canting. Captain, where is he going? Coming towards the
Okay, I only got half of the question. If you can just repeat the second half. Hi Ed, welcome on board this afternoon. Great to hear from you. And you're saying that when you watch the documentaries like The Big Cat Diary, the male lions seem to be closer to the females, whereas here the males seem to roam a lot more. And are you missing something? I think it just depends on the whole setup in the area and the amount of lions in the area. take a leg, thank you very much. Obviously there's no rush, there's probably no more lions in the area at the moment. So the hyena doesn't need to rush off with the leg. Just calmly just taking it away. Are you able to get the vultures in the tree? You don't need to move a little bit more. There goes a hooded vulture. So yeah, as I say, it does really depend on what's going on in the area. So here we do have quite a lot of males, and as I say, there's quite a number of prides, and you can get a coalition of males, and depending on how many there are, there could be 2 up to 6 males in a coalition, and we're actually hearing of possibly more in the area further north. And at the moment they're quite young, but there's actually 11 males further north, but they are quite young at the moment, so if they stay together as a coalition, that really is going to be a force to be reckoned with. But in the area also we have a lot of different prides, and those prides are going to overlap the territory of the males. Now obviously we've got the Majingilans this side in the east, and the Mapocos seem to be hanging out in the west. So any prides that overlap in the west, the Mapocos are going to obviously be taking control of, and the ones in the east, I think the Majingilans are. But obviously before that, the Mapocos had the run of the whole of the Sabi Sands by the sounds of it to a certain degree, and Kinky Tail and Mr. T would go off by themselves, but then the other 3 apparently used to spend a lot of time with the Tsalala pride, or at least actually could have been the old one. I think the old male, the Mandala, he spent a lot of time with the Tsalala pride. So if they've got maybe 1 pride in the area and there's not too much going on with other males, then they can afford to spend a lot more time with the females, and obviously then the females are going to be hunting and killing, and they can preserve their energy for fighting and territorial disputes. But obviously if there's a few prides, then they're going to have to go between the prides to keep a check on how the females are in estrus, and as I say, especially with the amount of females in the area, it's going to keep them busy. Whereas maybe in Big Cat Diary, the area that they're researching in, maybe there's not as high a number of lions, so again the males can afford to stay with the females a lot more, because maybe they only have 1 or 2 prides to check on in their area. So again, factors do influence different behaviours in different areas. So that's possibly why you're seeing differences in the behaviours from the 2 areas. Okay. Hi Eleanor, hoping I'm saying your name right, but asking if there's any books I can recommend on hyenas. I actually don't have a specialised book on hyenas, but the books that I do use, there's a lot of very good information on the animal, I think it's actually called Mammal Behaviour by Estes. That's a very, very good book, and it's got a lot of information on antelope, lions, hyenas and other carnivores and primates, and behavioural aspects. And also the guide to southern African mammals as well, which is I think it's the Smithers, if I can remember rightly. It's quite a big book that also has a lot of information right through to the dental makeup of the hyena and other animals, mammals, and that includes mice and rats and all sorts of wonderful creatures like that as well, right through to, again, the lions, the elephants, the hyrax, all those sorts of animals. But as yet I've not found a specific book. I'm sure there will be, but as I say, the Estes book I find extremely useful at the moment, and the Smithers book. I'll see if I can put the ISBN numbers on Facebook on the public page, so if anybody is interested in looking at those books, then you might be able to find them on Amazon or somewhere like that. We've got a hooded vulture at the bottom of the tree, and the rest seem to be all whiteback vultures. And it could be that they're actually congregating now because the lions aren't in the area, and as Patrick was saying, thinks that there wasn't that many vultures here before because obviously the lions are here, but also it's a very enclosed area. But now that the lions are gone, maybe the vultures feel a little bit safer about coming down to pick away at the carcass. I think they're a little bit nervous about us being here, possibly. These vultures aren't really going to be able to eat the skin of the buffalo. Tends to be more of the lappet-faced vultures and the marabou storks that will eat those kinds of parts of the animal. These guys have little ridges on their tongue to help try and loosen the soft tissue. And quite often the whiteback vultures, especially if there's other vultures around, they'll quickly fill the crop and then move away from the carcass so that they're not being bullied by other vultures. But it sounds like the lions... Oh, here comes another hyena just behind us. Obviously a lot more bolder because they're not smelling the lions anymore. So it looks like the lions is becoming an open sighting for us. So I think we're going to have a quick look at the hyena and then maybe move down towards the lion. Say backwards or forwards?
Either way. I don't know.
Oh, there's something there that isn't right. Oh, I wonder if there is still a line around them. So there's something, you just looked over his shoulder and decided actually I don't like that and started moving away. Him himself behind a tree. What are you seeing, little one? You're seeing another lion. So it was much more bolder in its approach. There's not much left of the carcass. Now remember, we've actually been quite lucky to see a carcass sort of go from being killed right through to it being stripped bare, and that was in about 24 hours, which may or may not be unusual. Here, as I say, it's a little bit more in the closed area. There was only 2 lions that had killed it, so they weren't going to be able to eat it that quickly. I mean, a big buffalo. So it's only really been stripped since the Styx Pride have come in and joined them on the kill. And now the scavengers are coming in because of the lack of the lions again. But like I say, just judging by this hyena's reaction, there's something that it didn't like. And again, for hyenas, the most active period is going to be usually during the night, or just before sunrise, just before sunset. But obviously when there's a kill like this, they're highly opportunistic. So if there's food available, then they're not going to waste time. So that's one of the reasons why we're seeing them this time of day in the heat. As I say, with the lions actually moving on, it's a bit safer for the hyenas. Although if there's enough of the hyenas, they could have pushed off the pride. You do have to have quite a number of hyenas to outnumber the lions. I say 7 lions around the carcass is not going to be an easy one to chase away all the lions. Okay. Aha! Hi Estenio. Hope you're well. Great to hear from you this afternoon. I'm just saying, after you watched Induna last night, you wonder if there's any jaguars in this reserve. There's such a beautiful creature, but they're not actually found here in Africa. They're only found in South America. And that's kind of South America's answer to the leopard. The leopard is basically found in Africa and Asia. But, the jaguar is the cat found in South America. And it does look very similar to the leopard. It's a very stocky cat again, but its colour is a little bit more orange. And its rosettes actually have a spot in the middle of them. But again, a very stocky cat. And they're going to be taking down, I mean, the biggest prey that they can take down is a tapir, which is the closest living relative to the rhino. They have the 3 toes, and they have a nose that's a bit elongated. Sometimes people think that they're closely related to the elephant. But they actually can give quite a nasty bite. They can rip an arm off with just one bite, and they can be quite aggressive, especially the Malaysian tapir, which is the black and white ones you see in zoos very often. The Brazilian tapir is dark brown all over, and they actually have quite a thickened ridge down the neck, and that actually is there for protection, especially against the jaguar. It's actually quite a lot. It's actually quite a thickening. It's not really bony. It's just a thickening of muscle and a bit of a mane down the back. I'm still looking to see what it is that is a little bit wary of. Wish I had the eyesight of a hyena. Okay, well, seems as we have nothing really around the carcass now, and the hyena's making its way off. I think we shall continue on. Let's see if we can go and join the lions. Hi Ricky, welcome on board this afternoon. And you just want to know what happens to the skin of the animal. Do the hyenas eat it? They might eat some of it, but I've also seen like elephant skin being left because it's quite thick. I think it does depend on what else is in the area. I'd say otherwise the insects, the maggots will devour it. Everything is utilized by something. Wow, we really do need smell-o-vision. I really think it's a good idea. I'd love to see how long you guys would have smell-o-vision on. I think I'm going to paint in that idea. Wow. That was actually quite strong. Breathe in. Make it strong. As I say, some of the vultures might, the lappet-faced vulture and the marabou might take a bit. There was actually a lappet-face flying over as I was sat there with Patrick Benson. Doesn't look like he stayed in the area though. I think we'll do a bit of a drive-by here a little bit later, quite possibly, and just see if the other males are around there. We'll catch up with the lions that are down by Treehouse Dam. Is there any station with the Ngala by Treehouse?
No, I think we got a bit locked in.
Lovely, thank you. Are they right next to the Nancy or are they in the Yeah, thank you so much. If we have any new viewers or anyone just tuning in, joining a live safari here in Juma Game Reserve in the famous Sabi Sands. And we're hopefully on our way to find where the lions are. They left this morning. After such an incredible morning. And it just goes to show, if you're patient enough, you can get some wonderful, wonderful sightings. Some days we can drive around this little area and there'll be trees and birds and all the smaller things, and then some days you get all the action. I mean, we were actually just saying, we've had so many kills by the lions and the leopards. I think it's just been cats galore for the last couple of weeks. We've had a cheetah coming through. Karula's had 2 kills of a tree in Duna, and Yamlili Dan really started things off. Obviously in Duna with 2 kills as well for himself, being chased off by a hyena last night, and this buffalo kill made by the 2 males, one actually being injured. But so it looks like he was putting a lot more weight on his foot this morning when Jared caught up with them. So hopefully he is going to heal very quickly. So he has had the injury for the last month and a half, I think now. No, just a month. Because they pulled down the buffalo right in front of the dam. That was the young Puma Pride, and he was there for that kill as well. And what we've got to look out for if ever we see a limping male again, the golf course male. And thanks to Colleen for posting, there's actually a video of how to identify the 2 males. The golf course male has a lot of fur missing, but he still has the black on his chest, which shows that he's quite an older animal than the Unkahuma male. And he also has a scar on the right back leg. So those are the 2 things to look out for. I'm still going to keep a lookout for any tracks of the elephants. Apparently there's some in Torchwood. Torchwood Dam, but that's quite far east of where we are. We're not able to go and drive there. As I say, we have a lot of action here on our part of Gowrie in Juma. And in case anybody missed, my name is Tara. I'm your guide this afternoon. Herman is on camera. Alex in Final Control. And if you'd like to send in any questions, send them through to finalcontrol@safari.tv. I'm seeing tracks going off here. I've got the hippo. Oh, lion's showing. Got blinded by the sun. And it's all 5 of the Sticks Pride, with Impala on the opposite side of the dam. Let's see if I can actually get a nice shot of the Styx male here. Now generally cats, after they've eaten, they'll make their way down to water and have a drink. And that's obviously what these ladies did, along with the young male.
The wind is certainly not in your favour.
No, it's not. It's actually blowing from the lines down towards the Impala. I doubt they're going to really be bothered too much, because they did have quite a big part of the buffalo kill. They definitely had the lion's share of it. That's very polite of them. Sometimes lions will actually go to the toilet where they're sleeping, but quite often they will actually move away. And hi to Richard. Welcome aboard this afternoon. I'm wanting to know, how often do hyenas hunt and how often do they scavenge? Again, it's a very difficult one, Richard, because again it depends on the circumstances, what's happening in the area. As if there's no reason for them to waste energy by hunting, then they won't. If there's enough places where they can scavenge, and if there's enough possibilities to scavenge, then obviously it takes less energy to scavenge. So there's little input but getting maximum output. Then in areas where there's maybe not too much to scavenge, maybe the predation or other predators' numbers aren't that high that they can steal carcasses, or if the veld's in a good condition and the animals aren't really suffering mortality too much, then we might actually turn to hunting a lot more. And they are extremely good at hunting. But as I say, they're a little bit more selfish than the lions, in that once a kill's been made, as I say, there is going to be a little bit of a tussle, but the big strong females will be in there first. And they don't actually suckle each other's offspring like the lions do. The lions will share, and sometimes even the females who aren't pregnant, they'll actually start producing milk, so that they're able to feed the cubs. But the hyenas don't do that. They strictly will only feed their own. But as I say, they will cooperatively hunt, and they will go out and find food in that way. And if they've decided that they're going to go for a zebra, they'll actually walk past wildebeest to get to the zebra. Okay. Okay. Hi Ellen, welcome on board this afternoon. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. And just asking about cheetahs and servals. Apparently you saw cheetah on another camera and someone called it a serval, and what's the difference? Servals are quite a lot smaller than cheetah, and they do still have spots, but they have much longer legs. They're actually very efficient rodent hunters, and also birds. They will jump after birds, and if the bird's in flight, they can actually catch them in mid-flight as they're taking off from the ground. A caracal can also do that as well. But they have extremely long legs, but the bodies are quite short. They're not really designed for running at speeds like cheetah are. They've got very, very large ears though, very large rounded ears. and that's also to help them detect any movements of rodents in the grass, and they generally will hunt in quite tall grass. Tail won't be as long as the cheetah either. But as I say, it's generally a small, what we class as a small cat. And we do get them here in Juma Game Reserve. So the cheetah don't usually stick around too long because it's not in the ideal habitat for their type of hunting. But serval I have seen, and we were actually talking about it probably about a month after I arrived, and I was saying to Mark, you know, do you ever see serval here? And he said, oh, I've never seen one, but I think there was one once. And literally that night, when we went out on safari, we caught sight of a serval, and it was sitting maybe about 2 meters from the road, if that, and literally just, I'm saying, go live, go live. It's kind of just, as the leader's running, he kind of just looks at us and goes, yep, you had your chance, and walked off. So we just got a little bit of the tail as it disappeared through into the night, but we tried to keep up with it, and we did catch a glimpse of it. And I'm hoping at some stage we will be able to see a serval really nicely. They are such a beautiful little cat. So these lions are doing what lions do best. I think the impala have actually caught wind of the lions. The scent's definitely made its way downwind. And they're a little bit uneasy, but they're not entirely sure, I think, where they are, so I think they're actually looking around. But it's so great to see all of the 6 pride together again, because they have been splitting up, possibly because of the Majingi lions and all the action that's been happening. And now the bellies are full. They were looking a little bit thin when we caught up with them, but the bellies are nice and full. And they're actually one of the longest, or have one of the longest bloodlines here in Juma Game Reserve. They've been going for a fair number of years. I think Johnny said somewhere between 20 and 30 years. And they were quite a large pride at one stage, I understand. 11 cubs. With quite a number of females, but unfortunately today we only have 5. Okay. You might be able to help me out with this one. Robin wants to know, hi to you Robin, wants to know when Juma last had cubs. And when was that? Do you remember?
A year ago.
About a year ago. So I'm sure if any of the viewers will know as well. But we think it's probably Sandy Patch, where she had 2 cubs. And wasn't that when Patrick was doing his test drive? I think Mark showed some footage when Patrick had a test drive and there was the female with the 2 cubs. And I think that, yeah, that would be about a year ago then.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the reasons why Mark showed that footage, because it was to mark Patrick's year with Wild Earth and Safari TV. For the Styx Pride, I'm not sure, I can't remember the date when they had the last set of cubs, but there was one female looking pregnant, or at least one, possibly 2, but that was when we saw them, and I saw that was the day before the terrible night, and one of the females was killed. And where I'm sitting at the moment, I can't tell if there's a female that's still pregnant. I'm hoping that one of them is. As I say, her nipples were very swollen, and I'm just wondering if she hasn't already given birth. But lions will do that. They'll give birth, they'll come back and rejoin the pride at intervals, and they'll leave the cubs on their own. And sometimes that's how cubs can die, because sometimes they don't go back soon enough, so the cubs can perish. Or maybe other predators can find them hidden away. Sometimes they'll leave a babysitter. On my old reserve we actually had a female, and she kept us guessing actually, and there was a particular area she liked to have her cubs, and she would leave the cubs and go and hunt with the pride, and then she'll come back, and then sometimes she would take her daughter, and the daughter would actually be left with the cubs, and she would go back to the pride again. And I think I saw one of the very first moments when the cubs were introduced to the rest of the pride, and that's usually after about 6 weeks. And we sat there, and this female, she wasn't always the nicest of females. She could be quite aggressive towards vehicles, but I think we had quite a nice understanding between each other. And we sat there with the pride, and I see her get up and walk away, and I said to her, yes, I'm wondering if she's actually going to go and fetch the cubs. And we hadn't seen them. We'd seen them, someone had seen them briefly, but she ran off with them. So we sat there, and after about 10-15 minutes she comes back, and she brings the 2 cubs out into view, and she kind of looks at us. We see the cubs, take pictures, and then she goes and walks behind a bush to go and give them some milk. It was such a magical experience. I mean, I say it was almost as if she was proud, and she was showing the cubs off to us. But what was very interesting after that was the other females took quite a big interest, and the female who was the babysitter, she was allowed to go to where she was, but the other females, and one in particular who was a bit of an outcast, and I wonder if she was just from a different pride originally, but she was not allowed anywhere near those cubs. The mother would actually snarl, and as I say, she definitely had to keep a distance. The other daughter also, she wasn't happy about her coming in too close, but she allowed her to get closer than the other female. It's quite incredible. And that's what says to me, those lions, if you see them often enough, they recognise people. Because we used to swap cars a little bit as well. So they would recognise the vehicle as well as the people. And if you drove a vehicle slightly differently, then even if that vehicle, if there was a certain person that had driven it, and that vehicle had a negative impact on the animals, if you were driving it and the sound of the engine was slightly different, then they'll kind of stop and look and think, is that the same person? It actually looks straight at you. And they might have reacted slightly differently. Okay. So 2009, sorry, who was saying that? That the sandy patch actually has 3 cubs? Marlene. Thanks, Marlene. Unfortunately, 2009 was when Sandy Patch had her 3 cubs. And that was the hippo that's in the dam, just making his presence felt. And I've got a question from Joanne. I just missed the first part of that question. Aha, okay. Sorry, Joanne. Yeah. And just asking which pride Snaggletooth is a part of. And last time it sounded like she was actually pregnant. And also wanting just an update. And Snaggletooth is part of the Uncahumas. And the Uncahumas used to move around in this area quite a lot, but they actually started moving up towards the north. And they come down onto Juma a lot less than what they used to. The Uncahumas is the pride that Snaggletooth is part of. As far as cubs are concerned, I've not heard anything else since the day that I heard that the cubs were seen, but I don't know how old the cubs were or anything in that regard, but I still haven't heard much of an update since then. Well, I'm still looking at those impala on the opposite side of the bank. Now, one thing about the Styx Pride, they're actually very quiet. You don't hear the Styx Pride roaring very often, and I wonder if it's because they want to try and keep under the radar away from the Majingilans. But one of the females, or 2 of the females actually had a Majingilan with them, not too long ago actually in Torchwood, so I wonder if they have been mating. But they might not have conceived. Quite often when there's been a takeover, it's actually quite a traumatic experience. And it could also mean that there's another coalition that may also come in during that time and try and take over territory. So if those females do fall pregnant, it could also be that another group of males might come in, maybe after they've given birth, and the chances are they're going to kill those cubs. So when a new coalition is taken over, quite often the females may allow them to mate to try and strengthen bonds between the new males, but they don't conceive for some reason, possibly because of the stress. So it might be that that's what's happened here. Now it is actually starting to get a bit cooler. Bless you. Okay. Hi Laura, thanks a lot for the information. Laura's actually saying that the Iberian lynx is the most endangered cat in the world through Portugal and Europe. And I have heard that myself as well. But, you say that there's only about 200 animals left in the wild, so that is very endangered. Critically endangered, I think would be the technical term. And there are different categories, and depending on different scenarios. So to be extinct, an animal is classified as extinct when it hasn't been seen for 50 years, no tracks, no sight, anything for 50 years before an animal is classified as extinct. Critically endangered, there'll be so many animals I forget what the categories are in number-wise, but there's critically endangered, near threatened, threatened. And if an animal is any of those, it's in the red data list, which is compiled by the IUCN. And the impala are actually moving away now. So it's getting a little bit cooler. So they may start moving, or they may decide to stay put. As I say, their bellies are full, they've drank. There's actually no real reason for them to move away from this area. They could be, they're going to spend the night here. I say lions can spend 22 hours a day sleeping, especially if they're nice and relaxed like they are now. Okay. Hi Steve, welcome on board this afternoon. I'm wanting to know what would happen if we introduced tigers, chimps and jaguars to South Africa. Actually, one of those species already lives in Africa. It lives further north in the rainforests in Congo and places like that, and that's the chimpanzee. But here it wouldn't really do too well. It's not really the right habitat for them, not the right foods for them. Tigers, the habitat is fairly similar, and actually when I was talking to Patrick, he's been to India quite a lot, and he said that the species of plants are very, very similar, and obviously hundreds of millions of years ago Africa and India were joined. So that's obviously why the plants are very similar, some very similar species, if not the same, just different subspecies. And the Indian tiger, the Bengal tiger, they're roughly about the same size as the lion, so they'll probably compete with the lion for food. But the lion will be able to take down much larger prey, like the buffalo and those sorts of prey, so the tiger may be able to find a role in between the lion and the leopard. It'd be quite interesting to see if they would actually force one or the other out. Because basically for an animal to survive in the same area as another animal, they have to fill slightly different roles. So if the animals, like the lion and the leopard goes for fairly small prey, the lions are going for larger prey, and hyenas obviously scavenge. They eat a lot of bone, more bone than the other predators. And as I say, each predator will have a different role. and slightly different food to the others. Slightly different time that they hunt. So the cheetah hunts during the day usually, the lions and the leopard at night usually. Let's say it's not always the case. So if you brought the tiger in and you did take one of those predators out, then it would actually impact quite a big deal, and depending on which tiger you brought in. So if you brought in the Sumatran tiger, for example, they tend to go for monkeys up in trees, and smaller prey species probably outcompeting the leopard. But let's say the lions might just push it out because of the amount of lions compared to one tiger. Tigers are very solitary. The Amur tiger, which is the largest big cat, also known as the Siberian tiger, you're looking at about 300 kilos. And they tend to pull down elk, wild boar, so quite large animals, so it's probably going to go for waterbuck, maybe kudu. It may even try for small buffalo. So again, it's starting to come into competing with the lions in that sense. Jaguar also filling the role really of the leopard in Africa. And as I say, we'll be able to pull down a similar sized prey to the leopard, going up to the tapir. So again, it might be able to pull down a wildebeest, antelope like that. But I think they would be able to survive. I mean, they are predators after all, and they have the instinct to hunt, so I think they'd find something to eat. But, as I say, it would actually have a negative impact on the other species that are here. A station interested in the Ngala, they're on the southern side of the dam.
2.
And there's actually no algae in Treehouse Dam now. When we started having an algae bloom, I'm getting some people worrying a little bit about what's going to happen with the water. And funnily enough, I think the hippo being the cause of the algae bloom is also one of the reasons why it's decreased as well, because the movement of the hippo will actually help to reduce the amount of algae. But there are areas, and I know Penny sent in an article about the algal blooms in Kruger and the fact that they're becoming so toxic, or that they've actually turned the water toxic, and that's possibly because of the amount of hippos in the water. But it's a difficult one because, as I say, the movement of the hippos should actually dislodge quite a lot of the algae and actually reduce the amount of algae. So I wonder if there was another factor involved there. But it's not actually the algae being there, it's actually when the algae die and they release toxins, which turns the water a bit toxic, depending on the amount of algae there. Hello?
Heading towards West Duck Clearing, but the basic feeding. Yeah, Brian. I'm on the left-hand side behind you here with 2 Ngala with hot water. Yeah.
Well, it's up to everybody. You say the lines are flat at the moment, but remember anything can happen. There could be something that walks through. And if they are still hungry, they might take that opportunity. But they are very flat at the moment, so we could drive on, see if we can find something else. So I don't think we are going to get much movement from them. They do seem to be quite full and lethargic. It's nice to see the sticks plied for a little bit. Do we have the majority yet deciding what they want to do? I'm just going to go down and drink. Let's go and join it. She's just going to find her spot where she is moving. Off to.
Find your head taller, I've got a picture. I just want to watch a real big minute. Get your head out of the way of the picture. Go to the right, go to the right. I got a picture on my monitor.
Having a bit of a stare off with the hippo. We're going to go and drink and decided maybe that's not such a good idea. So with it cooling down, that's when you start to get these cats a little bit more active. Oh, I've just seen a lady who looks pregnant. Actually, the lady that lay down in front of us. Just rolled over. Yeah, she looks very heavy. Okay. Yeah, Nepo displaying to the lines. He's actually rolling over at the moment. But I didn't quite catch who you wanted to know, but we're at Treehouse Dam at the moment with the Styx Pride. Still didn't catch that. Leslie, sorry Leslie. Leslie. Hi Leslie. We're just at Treehouse Dam at the moment, and we're not too sure where the two male Nkuhumas are. I think they're still by the carcass somewhere, judging by the hyena's reaction. I thought they'd made the way off, but looks like they could still have been around there. Hey lady. I did go down for a drink again. So the bellies aren't completely full, so I think if something did come this way, I think they would try and hunt it. But the impala were downwind. It was not really going to be a successful hunt with the water between them. And so this young male, he is going to be slowly moving on from the pride at some stage. He is coming up to 3 years. And he's going to be forced out of the pride at some stage. Okay. Hi Leslie, just wanting to know how you tell the difference between a pregnant and full of buffalo. I'd say it's actually her nipples that we saw last time, and her nipples just looked really swollen. And I'd say her belly just round the back towards where the nipples are still looks quite swollen, and they don't look as full as what I would have thought they would have after the amount that they ate, so maybe they didn't eat as much as we thought. I'd say her nipples do look swollen, but I can't see, there's no moisture around them yet, so I don't think she's given birth yet. Here comes another female. And she's going to take a walk around the back of the vehicle, I think. Taking a liking to him. Sure. Half a metre away from us.
That was quite cool.
I think this is the young female. So I think she's coming up for about 3 years old as well. So just judging by her size. Remember, they don't lose their spots, they just fade over time. But even adult lions of about 8, 9, they'll still have a few spots, so there just won't be that many. If you have a lion that has no spots at all, and that's very much a sign of old age. She seems to be a little bit braver than the young male, not really bothering too much about the hippo. You can see the spots on her leg there. Those are the spots that I'm talking about. They say when they're young they have a lot of these little spots. You can see the black tip on the tail that helps the cubs to follow them through the bush, and probably the other members of the pride, along with the ears, the black patches on the ears. They're also used for communication while hunting, and also other times as well. Oh, there we go, hippo's seen her. Doesn't seem to be too phased at the moment. I think she's taken a liking to you. Well, it seems that we don't have too much long left of the drive. I think we'll take another drive back, see if there's any more action around by the carcass, see if the young puma males are there. As I say, it's not the best time to look for elephants after sunset. Elephants are not really great lovers of the spotlight. That wasn't me. I like the way you just looked at me when the hippo did that.
Go for the Impala project. Is it okay or not? Fine, you can come.
Okay. So I think we're going to leave these guys. See if we can maybe follow up on them in the morning. As I say, I don't think they're going to move too far, but well, they might do. She looks like she's trying to follow. Let me just see what this female's doing across the way, because that's where the impala went. I wonder if she's going after those impala. Let's see if we can follow her. Let's see if we can drive around past these lines. trees around here to disturb the lion sleeping. Oh, we put a branch in the way, that's not good. Where'd she go? She cut through here, didn't she? What you doing, lady? Just getting a different viewpoint, apparently. So the wind is still actually going from the lines down into the direction of where the impala went, so maybe she isn't actually too bothered. And so I just thought she was walking along this way, exactly where the impala were. Just looked like she was looking to follow upon them. Okay, well, let's continue on then. We'll leave them to their own devices. And so we'll see if we can come past here tomorrow, see if they're still around. Kind of got an idea. I think they're going to head north. What are you doing, lady? Are you actually going to follow those impala now? Yeah, I think so, hey? She wants the company. She is actually following where they went. Sorry? The others are actually following her. Unless she's going to make her way back to the kill. I think she could be making her way back to the kill. There's not much there. Sorry guys, I'm curious. I know I said I was leaving, but I want to see where this female is going. This is quite a well-used game trail. She's actually checking back to see if any of them are following her. So it'd be quite nice to know where this game trail actually goes. For future reference as well, and if these lines are using it, so we'll definitely use them. Standing by.
One station from Arakuza at Henry, ready to come back to the you guys there. So how many guys are there?
I'm with them at the moment, but I've got one Mafanzi clambering north. Looks like she was clambering after some mala, but the rest of the Shlambi are down by the dam. It's just myself in the lock at the moment.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. So one of the guys safari goes okay, I'm sure he's under
After that, are they on channel 3?
Confirm, it looks like you don't have other channel. Can I join you?
Affirmative. They're slowly mobile, the whole Schlambis are slowly mobile now in a northerly direction. But if you're coming on the southern side, you should still get visual of all 4 of them. Oh, there's the impala. Straight up ahead. And the wind is actually going straight to them. And she's continuing to walk. Maybe she isn't hungry. They've seen her. They know that she's there. There's the snort. She is not wanting to hunt impala today then. Right? And here comes the other female just next to us. I wonder if she's going to spot the impala now, because the impala are actually watching that female. Here comes the second female. She hasn't seen them. She hasn't seen them, they haven't seen her. Oh, one has now. No, I think they might be making their way back to the kill then. But she just seems to be a bit on a mission. The third female. The impala don't know what's going on either. I've seen her. Oh, nice. Oops. Still want to know where this tube track goes. I'm hoping we can get through here. Let's see if we can get to past the kill. Maybe make our way down towards Gowrie Dam. The other two are taking their time. There you go, a lion can walk just a few meters away from impala and nothing happened. So this is a very well used game trail, so we'll definitely have to try and keep this in mind if ever we do lose animals off of Weaver's Nest. There you go, there's a little bit of excitement though, for a Sunday afternoon. Okay, are you alright to jump? aardvark hole. Oh, yes, right, that is an aardvark hole. Can you get that? Yeah, there we go. So Jared says that he's seen tracks, and this is an aardvark hole. I'm not going to climb out just in case there's any more lions coming after the other 2, 3. But on the inside, you might actually be able to make out the claw marks. But there you go. So there is proof here. It's not used now, but there's proof that there are aardvark in the area, and there's actually a termite mound just opposite it. So it could have been a feeding hole. There's another termite mound at the back there. So I think this could be a feeding hole from an aardvark. You can see all the leaves inside here. All these leaves just show that it's no longer used. And I think I see actually a spider web in there as well, which also means it's not used. But these holes will actually be utilized by other animals like warthogs, civets, jackal, pythons, porcupines, a whole number of species. I think I read once maybe 50 species of bird and animal can use them. Ant-eating chats on the open plains will build their nests in the roof of the tunnel. That's nice. So we just need to keep a lookout for aardvark in this area. So there's enough termite mounds here that they should be able to support aardvark. Oh yes. Then we're trying to make our way towards the Nest Road. So I'm going to swing back a bit. Where those lions went, just like that by the hole. But you don't see aardvark holes around here very often. When was the last time you saw an aardvark hole though? Yeah, a year and a half ago. Is it the same one? Standing by?
Is one of our cruiser stations, one of Uga Bengalas, confirm they on a bomber there, or they're not there yet?
Still covering through the Shatin. I think they may have made their way back to the Bamba. I'm not there just yet.
Okay, cool, thanks. So yeah, I don't know if they don't have your kind of, but the entry system, so I told them to come that side.
There they are. After that, I'll go channel 3. Yeah, both of them are there. Which station interested in the gala?
First Friday, I'm not telling you now, Fire Lodge.
After that, just followed 3 Mafazis through the Shatin to the Bamba on Weaver's Nest. I don't know if the other 2 are still by Treehouse Dam at the moment. It looks like the 2 Mafazis that were by the Bamba. It looks like the whole Schlambi is here by the Bamba now on Weaver's Nest.
I just got Treehouse Dam. I'm taking the first road.
That's affirmative. Stay on that road and you'll find us just by the lightning conductor on that road. And not too far, you should be with us in the next 5. Okay. As I say, there's not much there though. And where are the boys? I was expecting to maybe see the boys here at least. So I'm going to come up here. Can you see through there? We have some action there. What, 5?
5.
So this is all the sticks pried again. She's also looking at something in the distance. I do wonder if those younger human males are still around. Stations, the father and Gala are now back at the Bamba on Weaver's Nest.
Four, 3. Copy it in, I'll take. 2.
Is there a station looking for the Ingala? I think somebody was asking about elephants, and I think there's some elephants down by the dam. So I think we're going to leave the cats and we'll have a quick look at the elephants, because it's still a little bit light. We'll see if we can have a quick look. We might stay 5 minutes longer, but we do have a fireside chat tonight. So there's not much left. Are the elephants still there at the dam? Alex? Still at the dam. Enjoy! Stations leaving the loft by Ngala at the Bamba on Weaver's Nest, with one station from Arathusa in. How can you describe the smell of a carcass? There's nothing else that really comes close to it. Hyena again. Hey little one. Apparently he owns this bit of road now. Hey, little one. Okay, I think we're just going to continue driving past him and just see if we can have a quick glimpse of the elephants. I'm not sure if they're on the way south, so we might not be able to pick them up on the dam cam. As I say, we won't be able to spend too long, but thanks to everybody for joining us, and thank you very much for all the questions sent in, and I do appreciate that and all the information. But I'm going to be saying goodbye for myself and the team for now, and if you want to see if we can catch a quick glimpse of the elephants before heading back to camp, then stay tuned. Otherwise, bye for now.
30 seconds to countdown. Standing by.